Greetings, I'm Geofatboy. The Jeep Wrangler, it's a great vehicle. Recreational, lots of fun, great in winter, great in summer. It does have a couple design flaws. In the back here, the vision is very limited from the driver's seat, looking into the rear view mirror, facing backward. Children could be playing behind you, someone can pull out behind you, and you can't see, unless your vehicle has a backup camera. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you how to install this backup camera. This is a brand motion, and my Jeep is a 2008 Wrangler Sahara Unlimited, and it has the factory radio with the navigation built in. So I have the radio that corresponds to those specs. This is the brand motion 9002-8847. There's a look at it. I'll put some links under the video. Just click where it says show more, and it'll take you directly to the cameras and some of the other products shown in the video. This way, if you want to pick up any of these items, it'll be nice and easy. On the outside, you have the spare tire, which takes up a lot of vision from the front. Also the brake light, and then you have these hinge covers, and the windshield wiper here. Let's open the vehicle up. Inside, you have this windshield wiper cover for the rear wiper. And then you have your two rear seat rests, which also will block your vision looking rearward. I'll take you through the whole process, removing the spare tire, installing the camera bracket, and then running the wire all the way from the back here through the subwoofer along the side, behind the dashboard, and then into the factory radio. I'll also show you how to chirp the OBDM module to activate the rear view camera on the factory radio. Here's everything the kit comes with. This is the mounting bracket with the camera, and then this little bracket is adjustable here. There's two nuts in the back. You can adjust this so you get proper vision out the back through your tire, through your rim. And this will go alongside the vehicle from the rear all the way up to the front. Once you get to the front, that will plug into this power harness. This is the 22-pin white connector with the RCA jack. This is what will plug into the factory radio. And this is the program module. This is what you'll plug into your OBDMI port, and this will chirp or beep the horn in order to program it to your radio. It says on here, not returnable if seal is broken. So I'd be sure that before you open this seal, you're going to keep the product and use it. Also comes with about 15 black twist ties and an extension bracket if you need it for the camera. And then these are 3 wheel spacers that will go on the spare tire. There's always a little bit of nervous anxiety before you start a project like this. Don't worry, that's a good thing. As Rob Schneider says, you can do it. Don't worry, it's not that difficult. It's time consuming. Just I'll say this, that I looked over the brand motion instructions that come with the product, and they're really not up to par. These pictures look like they've been copied 50 times. They're black and white, and it's really hard to see what's happening in these pictures. So we're going to go through this process. I'm going to put some good light on it and try to show you everything to make it much easier so you can just follow along with the video, do what I do, and complete it in a few hours. Oh, by the way, this product, the camera I have, it does have the parking line, the guidelines, which will guide you when you go to reverse. So every time you put your car in reverse and you could see behind you, and if you feel nice and safe, you could say, "Thanks, Geofatboy. I appreciate your help on this one." All right, let's get started. The first step will be to remove the spare tire. If you have a locking lug like this one, you'll need the key for it. We'll start with that. Now that the spare tire has been removed, you can install the bracket. Now it says on the instructions, do not run the cable through the center of the bracket. You don't want it going through there, and I could see why. If you go to remove your wheel at a later date and you drop it off, you're going to chop the wire in half. So you don't want to run it through there. Just leave it up here for now. Now let's open up the back door and remove this trim panel. I have a steel scraper. They call for a plastic scraper, but this is a metal scraper. I just put some painter's tape over it to protect the finish. So you can see what you have here. Here's a spot where you can bring the cable through this round circle. Let's see how we can get it through there. The bracket is on, it's loose, but it's on here. Let's unravel all this so we can fish it through. There's an opening here where your tail light wire comes through. That's where you want to drop it through. Again, you don't want to put it through the center of the bracket here. This has a shroud over it, a plastic shroud, wire loom, to protect the wires from the elements outside, which is good. So I've got the bracket here, cable comes around, and I'm sure this will need to be adjusted later, but I'm just going to straighten it up for now. I presume it will be straight, just like this. So I'm just tightening that gently, not all the way yet. May require a little bit of adjusting later. Okay, the cable is through here. Now we want to take this end and get it through the vent. There's a plastic vent inside here. We want to fish it through there to get it inside the rear compartment. I've got a piece of stiff wire here that I'll use to fish it through the back door. You can use a coat hanger, just cut it and use that. Now I've got the wire, the solid wire through the vent and into the back of the vehicle, the back door. I'll form a hook on the end of this wire, just loop it around like that. And then I'll take the end of the cable that goes to the front and just loop it through here like this. And tape that up. Now I'll fish this wire through. It's a little tricky doing this. You want to push and pull at the same time gently so that you can wind your way through the obstacles that might be in there. Okay, I've got it through. So now I'll pull all this wire all the way through to the inside. So the cable goes from the bracket right here. Here's the camera eye. It goes from the camera. It's inside this wire loom. And it goes down in there. And you can see the bracket inside there, the plastic air vent. So we're inside there. Here's a look from the bottom. And there's the cable. You can see it right here. It goes through that plastic vent. It comes out this hole right here, and it's going to follow this factory wiring across here through the subwoofer, along the side, and up to the front. The next move is to take this cable and fasten it to the factory wiring. So we'll use these zip ties. We start on this end, we'll get it just about where we need it. And you just slide it through the slot and pull tight. These will only tighten one way. I'm leaving it loose for now, that first one. We'll put another one here in the middle. Okay, so it'll just follow that. You can tighten this up. Make sure that the wire is snug coming through there. Alright, now with these zip ties, here's a trick. If you cut these, they're really sharp and you can cut your hand very easily on the sharp edge. If you just grasp it with the tip of your lineman pliers and twist it, and just keep twisting till it breaks off, the end is not sharp. So if you rub your hand against it, you're not going to get cut. We're out of the woods back here, so we can reinstall this trim piece. Okay, now we'll move on to the rear compartment. Now let's remove the subwoofer. There's 3 bolts. Top left, bottom left, lower right. And let's pull back the subwoofer. Okay, so you can see we have wiring here, which is what we want to follow coming in, and there's wiring here, so we'll get on the same path with these wires and take them all the way to the front along the side here. Here's a look at the wiring. Some of these connectors are quite thick. You could think about running them through this, but I don't believe this is thick enough to handle these wires with these connectors. So I'm going to fasten it to the outside and run it along here, following the factory wiring from the subwoofer and the rear lights to the front, along the side, along the right side of the vehicle. You can peel back this carpeting so you can see these, find these wires. You can see where the factory wire comes in at. And so here's where we'll just follow this around and up to the front. When you fasten these wires, make sure you leave a little bit of play so that when the door swings, it's not too tight. You need some slack in there. Here's the factory wiring that we'll be following. We're going to fasten to this to get all the way to the front. I tuck it underneath so you can't even see it. It'll be hidden that way. Now we can twist off our zip ties. Here's a look at the wiring. It comes through the plastic trim plate. I have it zip tied to this existing factory wiring. It makes a loop here. Again, make sure you leave enough so the door can open and close. And it follows this factory wiring right here. And then attach it to this wire loom with the zip ties. And we'll work our way behind this carpeting all the way up to the front. So you can replace your carpeting now. And then reinstall the subwoofer. Before we go any further up towards the front, let's finish off the back. There's 3 of these push nuts, they're called, or push washers. What they do is they just retain, they're like retaining washers. They keep the bracket in place. So let's install those. And I think a good way to do it is just start it like that. Just get it so it's on there, because these are really tight. They don't thread on. But if you can push them on hard enough, they can at least get started up there. And I think this might work. I have a rubber mallet, and this is a 5/8 deep well socket. Let's try and see if we can get them to go in that way. Perfect. It goes in almost all the way. It will take a little bit with a screwdriver just to seat them all the way. You can use a screwdriver. We can tighten these nuts. It's a Phillips screwdriver in the front, and it is a 3/8 nut in the back. So just hold that nut and tighten these down so that they're nice and snug. Now we can reinstall the spare tire. You can see that the spare tire is now mounted, and then directly through the center hole the camera protrudes, and it's sticking out a little bit, but I think that's good because you want it to be able to look down and see something that's close to the rear of the vehicle. I just want to remove this paper. Kind of draws attention to it. We don't want that. We want it to be unobtrusive, not as noticeable, inconspicuous. So there we go. We're done in the back and the side. We'll work our way to the front now. Here's a better look at the camera. Here's our wire coming along the rear. We're going to pull up this carpeting and we're going to fasten it to this factory wiring harness and get it past the rear passenger seat. Now we can remove our zip ties. So here's the wire that follows the factory wiring loom right along here, and it's zip tied to the loom. So we can replace this carpeting, put it back in. We've got it all the way down to the side of the passenger seat. Okay, here's the side of the passenger seat, and you can see that the carpeting is here and the wire is tucked neatly underneath the carpeting. Comes all the way down here, and here's where it comes out. Now we're working our way up into the front driver's compartment. So we need to remove these tabs. This tab right here, that one, that little black tab, this one, and this one. So we can remove that and run the cable through there. I'll remove this tab here. This is by the rear passenger seat. Okay, I was able to get the bracket off here and then the two up in the front, and I'm going to enlist my solid wire again and use it as a fish to come back here and get these and pull them up towards the front. I've got the cable tied onto the solid wire. I'll pull the rest of the wire through towards the front. Close this back up. Okay, now we've worked our way up from the back seat area to the front seat area. Here's the plastic strip, trim strip. It's pulled away, and then you can see the wire loom. That's where our wire comes through from the back going up toward the front. So we just need to get it from here up into the front compartment underneath the dashboard. I have these left over from replacing a couple of bicycle tire inner tubes. These are perfect for sliding under here, but you could use a scraper as well and just slide it along here. I've got it pulled away far enough where I can just run the wire through there and up to the front. Now I'm pulling the wire along the front door panel out to the front underneath the dashboard. I've got it all the way up here to the very front right, as far to the front as I need to go, right next to the factory wire loom. And here's the wire. And I found a little soccer ball underneath the trim. It's amazing what you find. Pop those back in place so those are good to go. Now we're ready to attack the front dashboard area. Now I'm in the front of the vehicle. We're going to remove this portion of the dash so we have access to the back of the radio, so we can complete the wiring that needs to be done there. So take the plastic insert tool and start up at the very top. Just put it behind there and pry across and slide like that, and just pick up on this area and then bring it all the way up and pull forward, and you can see that there's a little wiring harness here. I don't think we need to remove this. We don't have anything to do there, but that does expose these 4 bolts right here, or 2 bolts, one on the upper left, upper right of the radio. Now we'll come down to the bottom, take the plastic insert and this very bottom plastic plate that's right below the 12 volt power outlets. I'm using the flat scraper on this one. Move that out of the way, and that exposes the other two bolts down at the bottom here, lower left and lower right. Now let's remove the 4 screws, upper left. It's an 8mm screw. I'll place them in the cup holder so they don't get lost. And there's 2 down here at the bottom. Okay, now we will pry out from the top. Now I'm going to put the key in. Just so I can put it down into low 1, so I can get some room to pull this away. So now I've got this turned off to the side. It's out of the way. We can get to the radio. We're going to remove these 4 bolts, upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, from the radio. And set those in the other cup holder. I should be able to pull the radio out now. All right. Okay, we've got it out far enough where we can see what we're doing back here, which is great. Now I will bring the wires up from the lower area to behind the radio. I'm going to remove the glove box. All you do is push in and squeeze. There's a couple of tabs that lock in, so once you get beyond that, you can pull it right out. Now we'll work on getting the wires from the lower portion through behind the glove box to the radio area. Okay, now connecting the wires, you have the power harness, which is right here. It's got a yellow and black jack on it, and this yellow one, but then the power wires are black and red. You have 1 black wire, 1 red wire. And then you have your 2 power outlets down here. This one is labeled power outlet, this one doesn't have any label on it. You want to use the one on the left. On the back of it, there's a wire that's blue with the red stripe, and then there's a black wire with a white stripe. So you want to connect the red wire from this power harness to the blue wire with the red stripe, as I did right here. And then you want to connect the black and white wire to the black wire from the power harness. And what I did was I snipped the wires, cut them in half, and then I stripped them back, and I used this barrel type connector. This is a Stacon or Panduit is the company that makes it. It's just hollow and it has metal on the inside. You slide the wires. I twisted the 3 wires together, slid them inside, and then I crimp it with this pliers. Just put it in here like this, and for insulated you just squeeze it down and that will crimp it, and it's a nice mechanical tight fitting for those wires, better than using a wire nut. So that's the back of the power outlet. We'll just plug that back in, and we're going to reassemble everything then. This is the chassis harness. This is the one that comes from the camera. This goes all the way around from the front to the side to the back, and that attaches to the camera. So you're going to take this one and you're going to plug it directly into the power harness that you just spliced into the back of the 12-volt outlet, and then you're going to plug the yellow to yellow and you're going to plug the black to black, just like that. And then you will take this remaining yellow wire. It's the one that's longer. These two match up. They're the exact same size. They go together like this. And I'm going to tape these together so they don't come apart. And you'll take this yellow one and plug this into the 22 pin white connector, which is right here. It has a black connector on the end of it, so you connect that like that. And I'm going to tape this up as well. Then this 22 pin connector will plug into the back of the radio. I've got everything plugged in. You want to go ahead and reassemble everything in the reverse operation of how you disassemble everything. Like the way you took it apart, you're going to put it back together the same way. Here's the back of the radio. Here's the white pin, the 22 pin connector. It's got the black and red wire coming off of it with the RCA jack on the other side. Here's the RCA jack plugged into the black connector, and I just put tape on it so it doesn't come apart. And then down here is your cigarette lighter, the back of your power outlet with the black and red wire attached. Now you can reinstall the 4 bolts on the radio. 1, 2, 3, and 4 down at the bottom. Tighten those up. Okay, those 4 are tight. Now reinstall the instrument panel. So again, the wire goes along the floorboard here, and it comes up underneath in here. Here's my wire, this one. So it comes out of the corner, and then it goes up behind the glove box, inside the glove box to the back. I have a twist tied to the wires, the existing wires up here. I have it tied to those wires, and then it goes up in the corner and it comes out behind the radio. You'll find hollow spots where you can fish the wires through. There's plenty of little spots where you can sneak through. Now you can go ahead and reinstall the glove box. It's got 2 little hooks on the bottom here that fit onto these little round points here. And then it just rolls upward and squeeze the sides, and it latch the 2 little protrusions, they will latch behind. There you go. Okay, now it's the moment of truth. I'm going to open this up. It says not returnable if seal is broken, but we're going to do it. We have faith that we installed everything properly. So I'm going to open this up and remove this. This is what will flash or program the factory radio to accept the reverse camera. I'm going to remove this, another sticker. It says warranty void if removed. I'm going to remove that. So I have the module here, and what I'll do is you turn the key on. You don't start the car, but you turn it all the way to the position right before start. Wait for all the beeping to stop and all the chimes to stop. Then you take this module and you plug it right into the OBD port. I've pulled mine out so you can see it better. It's right here. Just line these up, and the horn should honk. You plug it in and leave it in until you hear the honk. There you go. You heard the honk. Now you can pull it out. Now we'll test the system. Okay, let's start the car and test it. Step on the brake, put your parking brake on, step on the brake, and put it in reverse. Oh, look at that, beautiful. I can see behind me, and I can see the guidelines on both sides. It's a thing of beauty. Success. The sweet smell of success. Don't you love it? It takes about 1 second to kick in, but you can see back there, which is really nice. Here we are looking from the exterior of the vehicle. Here's a look at the camera. You can see it hiding in there. It's pretty inconspicuous. You have to kind of look for it to see it, which is good. Okay, now we're going to do a final test. We're going to show you how the reverse backup camera works in this 2008 Jeep Wrangler. So my assistant is going to place it from park into reverse. All right, go ahead, assistant.
Ta-da!
Look at that. Look how cool that is. It's a lovely snowy day in Chicago, and you can see the grid lines behind for parking and a clear view of the vehicle behind us. Excellent. Thank you very much. I hope this video helps you save some time when you go to install your backup camera. And by the way, if you ever need any shaving supplies, check out shavenation.com. I'm Geofatboy. Thanks for watching. Have a great shave. Have a great day. Adios.
Peace out.
As I said before, I'll put some links under the video. Just click where it says show more. And if you want to pick up any of the items, the cameras and other things shown in the video, the links will take you right to the product. So it's nice and easy. I'm Geofatboy. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps you install your camera. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.